Everybody, and welcome in to another edition of College Basketball Countdown. I'm your host, Jeff Nato, and we are presented and here live on Pub Sports Radio. I hope you're all having a great Saturday morning, and we are in the middle between Christmas and New Year. I hope you enjoyed your Christmas holiday and you're excited for a brand new year. I hope it's good for you. I hope it's good for me. Let's get into it. We got a lot to get over and go over today. We have 5 games to get into. I'm going to take some of your questions. I'm going to throw some nuggets out there. I'm going to talk a little bit about last night, what we saw. We're going to get into some bowl games today. We got a couple of more bowls to kind of finish out the year. We always obviously have the big Final Four on Monday, right? Monday, yes. A lot to get into. I hope you're, again, having a great day. If you can, please hit that like button. If you're new around here, make sure you subscribe to the channel and become a member because it can get you special privileges if you are not one. We did in fact, let's get with the runner of this company, Jeff Slaughter, and see if we can't give away some cigars to a member today. We'll give something to a member today. Already some members in the chat. Jeff Arp is a new member. Thank you, Jeff. Ice Viking is a new member. What up, Ice Viking? Thank you for watching. If you're here, do me a favor, hit that like button. Okay, I want to talk about a little bit from what we saw last night. I want to say a very nice win for Brian Dutcher and San Diego State. That was a big time win for that group against the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Not only did they win it by double digits, but they scored 84 points and they went up to the panel to do it. That is an impressive win. Didn't really shoot the ball particularly well, but I'll tell you what, did a nice job from the defensive end, made Gonzaga really just continue to struggle. And this is an issue with some of these teams from last season. They just cannot make shots, right? You look at UConn, really struggling to make shots this year, the three-point variety. You look at Gonzaga, really struggling to make shots to start the season. You look at Creighton, really struggling at times to make shots this season, which we'll get into today. So that's something to keep in mind. You also look at, was there going to be someone that stepped up for San Diego State that we really hadn't seen step up? And Reese Waters. Look, if he can give them 15 to 20 points a game, they're going to be a very tough team to beat. They have great guard play. They have Ladie. That's a really good basketball team, right? We knew that from last season, right? I mean, it's a team that went to the Final Four, to the final game. So we know how good San Diego State can be. It's a good basketball team. Very nice win for that group last night up at the Kennel. A couple other notes. Michigan loses to McNeese State, which isn't that surprising to me because McNeese State is really good under Will Wade, a former coach of LSU. Pretty impressive win by them. But let's get into what we saw and what we will see today. As I've said, if you have a comment or question, feel free to jump in and ask it. If you have a comment on any game today. Let's start it out. Noon Eastern. We got Virginia headed on the road to take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Virginia currently a 10-point favorite. I would search around, though. There are 9.5s out there. It is what it is. But make sure you search around because that could be the difference in a win or a loss. The total in this game is a very low 115.5. I do want to point out this number jumped from 113.5 to 115.5. I've even seen 116s out there. So look, if you like the under, search it out. You might get a 116. Look, anytime Virginia plays, you have to ask yourself, what is the tempo of the other team? And for Notre Dame, they're actually slower than Virginia. Virginia is a little bit faster than normal, but they're still 315th in adjusted tempo. Notre Dame is 344th. And what that tells me is, and this is something that I'm learning about Notre Dame, they just can't score. So I think the goal for them is to just take the air out of the ball and try to keep the score low and just try to stay in the game defensively. Problem is, they haven't been really good on that end either. Whenever you play Virginia, you have to be able to shoot the basketball, right? I mean, it's pretty rudimentary, but it's simple. They're going to create a pack line defense. They're going to put 2 up top, 3 at the back, and they're going to grade everything in. They're going to say, you're not going to get into the paint. You're going to shoot bad jump shots. And in this game, Look, it's real simple handicaps when you play Virginia. Can you shoot the basketball? If you can shoot the basketball, you have a shot. If you can't, you don't have a shot. And quite frankly, there aren't many teams worse than Notre Dame shooting the basketball this year. There just aren't. I mean, they are really, really bad. And when I say really bad, they're not like 33%. They're 26.5%. It's not good enough. They could they come in here and shoot the lights out? I guess. But I'm not sure if they're really that capable of doing that. This roster isn't good, okay, for Micah Shrewsbury in his first year. It's just not. It's a bad roster. There's not a lot of good players on this team. A lot of the players they had have come and gone. You know, the Cormac Ryans of the world, they're gone. This is a bad roster. This is a team that's really struggled to not even get shots up, but not turn the ball over. I think this is a blowout game here. I think Virginia comes in and waxes Notre Dame. This is not the same Notre Dame team that you've come to love. Virginia has still been pretty good offensively. They've done a nice job really at every level. And look, I know their only game on the road they lost, but this is a game I think a lot more in their wheelhouse. Notre Dame's not going to speed them up. Notre Dame's not going to put them in a precarious situation where they have to play in transition. This is a bad team, Notre Dame. It wouldn't surprise me if Notre Dame, doesn't win a game in the league this year. This is a really bad basketball team. I'm going to lay the number here with Virginia. I laid 9.5. I think you should too. Make sure you look around for this number. Kelly McGinnis, what's up? How are you? Nice to see you. Woo Rizza says, I don't want to lay 10 on the road with UVA and I don't want to back Notre Dame. I'm not sure why you wouldn't want to lay 10 on the road with Notre Dame. I mean, or with Virginia. I get, they didn't play well against Memphis, but all in all, I mean, this has been quite a good team this season. I get they can have a game where they just can't shoot, but this isn't the type of team that I think is really going to do much in the way of stopping them. So yeah, I like Virginia here. I'll lay the 9.5 in this one in South Bend. What's going on today? It doesn't seem like there's that many people in here. Usually we have a decent group of people in here today. I guess maybe it's the holiday. Did we get that thing retweeted? Yes, we did. So if you're here, retweet the show. Try to get people in here. Usually we have a good crowd in here. So it doesn't seem like the chat's real lively today. Billy Briss says, happy B-Day to the Don of Pub Sports, Jeff Slaughter. Oh, really? I didn't know it was his birthday today. Happy birthday to Jeff Slaughter, the man, the myth, the legend, the man, the true man. Jeff Slaughter is a good man. And I'll tell you right now, he's done a lot for someone like me. We've had a lot of good times together. He got me to San Antonio in 2018 for the Final Four. A good guy. Cheers to you, Jeff Slaughter. I'll have to send you some cigars. All right, everybody, let's get into the next game. Ian Shaver says that poker tournament last night, everybody's still sleeping it off. Oh, really? Okay, maybe that's what it was. Maybe people are still asleep. Maybe they just don't like me. That might be it. Kelly McGinnis says weed days. Weed days. Come on. Wake up. Time to get some games in. All right, Creighton Marquette, big game in the Big East. Marquette laying 3.5, total is 153. Guys, listen, here's the issue with Creighton. Okay. You are a slave to the 3-point line. There's no more variant based teaming in the country than Creighton. And guys, this is kind of crazy, but it's not really that crazy. If Creighton make threes, they will win. And if they don't, they will lose. Let's go over their 3 losses this year from 3. Colorado State, 5 for 19. UNLV, 8 for 29. Villanova, 7 for 20, or 5 for 24. So under 30% in all 3 losses. Now, in their wins, they generally shoot the ball really well, near 40%. That's the difference. That's the thing with them. Either they make threes or they don't. And Stevie Mitchell's back from Marquette today, their best defender. Creighton struggled at times with some of the mobility of bigs. I think Marquette is a bad matchup for Creighton. And I don't know how you go and play this team right now. They're just so hit or miss, and they are just so reliant on the 3 ball. And then against a really good perimeter defense on the road, I'm not running to bet Creighton right now. I'm just not. And I don't think laying numbers is that big a deal against them a lot of the time because, again, It's when they lose, it's generally gonna be by margin because they're just not gonna make any shots. And I don't mean to be, like, kinda basic, but remember, Villanova beat them without Justin Moore. Justin Moore is Villanova's best player. Now, he hasn't played recently, but Justin Moore is the Villanova's best player, and they still beat Creighton. And I don't think it's gonna get any easier for Creighton because they're either gonna make shots or they're not. When we look last season at this matchup, I felt like, and I know they did, Marquette did a nice job in this game. Marquette's really good. I mean, Tyler Kolek's terrific. You know, you look at that game. Did they play last year? Um, yeah, they lost 69-58 and 73-71. Lost both games. I thought they lost both games. They did. And in one game, 58. Marquette. It's hard for me to get involved here with Creighton right now. It just is. And I think they're probably a live betting team. If you like them, you got to see how they're looking to start the game. Let's say they start the game, 2 for 5 from 3 or something. Well, maybe you have a game where they're going to shoot the ball well. But this team's rough right now. It's hard. It's really, really, really hard. Julian Cesare says lean Marquette. Yeah, me too. And I would anything under 4, I'd probably lean on them here. Now, people are talking about the totals been all over the place. That's why. It's hard to reel them in. Look, I feel like if you like Creighton in this game, you take the over. If you like Marquette, you take the under. But again, that's going to come down to the 3-point shot yet again. Now, to put this into perspective as to why this is so important, when we look at 3-point attempts to field goal attempts, Creighton is 7th in the country. What does that mean? Well, it's how many field goal attempts do you shoot to 3-point attempts. Creighton shoots a lot of 3-point attempts. You also look at point distribution from the 3-point line, how a team gets to the amount of total points they have. Creighton is 13th in America in point distribution from the 3-point line. They're extremely reliant on that shot. They just are. Shaka Smart ain't stupid. Marquette ain't stupid. They got a bunch of dogged defenders, man. Iguodara, Stevie Mitchell, Polak. They got a bunch of kids there that can really, really defend. Cam Jones, David Joplin. Anything under 4, I'm going to lay the number here with the Marquette Eagles. King Ooh says, let's go, Jeff. Thanks for the show and info. Let's get this cash. I appreciate you and everyone in the chat for the info as well. Thank you, King Ooh. I appreciate that. Craig Wood says, Creighton, Iowa paradox. When they win big. When they lose big. Yeah, well, for Iowa, it's a bit easier because you can just say, well, bet the over every game because Iowa doesn't stop anybody and they score a bunch, right? I was going to say, bro, this line makes no sense. As far as what exactly? I'm curious what you mean, Billy Briz. Brad Amalut says, love your content in Canada. What up, Brad? Thank you for watching, my man. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure you hit that like button. Somebody's asking me about David Joplin over 1.5 threes in this game. Interesting bet. You look at the last 5 games, David Joplin's gotten over 1.5 threes, and I believe 3 of them. Good 3-point shooter. Definitely has the volume. 65 threes, 39%. Let me look at 3-point attempts per game. He gets up a lot of shots. Yeah, I'm not looking to lay a number on that. 135, bit high on a prop. I don't play a lot of props. Look, he is one of their better shooters. Um, yeah, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. You just got to make sure he gets the volume, which he has. You look at the last 5 games: 5 attempts, 5 attempts, 4 attempts, 2 attempts, 7 attempts. You got to get him the 5 attempts. If he can get 5 or more attempts, I think you're probably going to hit that. He's a good enough shooter. But there's such a small margin there. Chess and poker. Do me a favor. Later in the chat, please ask me that question. I'll open it up to a Q&A here in a little bit. Hey, Dabby Cab, what's going on? How are you? Thank you for watching, man. Ian Shaber, what's good? What's good? Billy Briss says, I feel like Marquette should be 5. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like this number was probably correct. You probably just throw a 3.5 out there. Marquette's at home, slightly better team. I think it's a fair, but I could get your point too. Maybe you just throw out a 4. But if I'm a book, this is the perfect number to me. Creighton shoots more threes than any other team in college basketball. They live and die by it. Yeah, exactly. Joe Hill says, "Are we kissing the ring today? Because I need some New Year's money." You're always kissing my ring, bro. What people do here, they kiss the ring. That's always been how it is. I've been doing this for years. That's one thing. Longevity with me. I'm always here. I never go. How long have you all been seeing me on these channels? Let me ask you guys, for anyone in the chat, how long have you watched my content? I'm curious. Anybody in here watching right now, how long have you watched me? It could be a day, could be today, it could be 10 years because I've been doing it that long. How long have you been watching my content? I'm curious. OG Souls, what's going on, my man? Do my cigars ship to Canada? I believe they do. I believe they do. I'll have to get in touch with my guy, Brian, but um, I'll figure that out, Brad. Brad, listen, shoot me an email. The sit down 777 at gmail.com. I'll put it in the chat. The sit down 777 at gmail.com. I just put it in the chat for you. Or maybe Jose can put it in the chat for me. I'm sorry. I guess I can't post links. The sit down 777 at gmail.com. Okay. Kelly McGinnis says I'd say 5 years. Okay, very cool. Barry Roselle got to be 10 years. Yeah, I know you've been around a long time, Barry. OG, I know you've been around. I used to watch you last year on the Bet US stream. Thank you, Craig. Jeff Hanna, early 2018. I remember you at Donnie, SBR, Hustle Man, 7 years. Billy Briz, Barstool days. I appreciate that. Thank you, Pulse Sports Radio, for putting that in the chat. Send me an email for sure. Said Porter, I'm glad you're I go back before. Okay. Okay. Got you. Got you. I thought you said you had it. I was like, okay, damn. Uh, Thank you, said Porter. Joe Hill, my man. Thank you. Gennaro, since 2015 with SBR. Yes, I was at SBR in 2015, almost 10 years ago. We're approaching. Jimmy the Bag was the first with Peter. That is incorrect. He is not the first with Peter. Mike Brenner was the first with Peter. That's before Jimmy. In fact, first video I did in sports betting content was with Peter Loshak in 2014 on Pub Sports Radio. And we broke down this game, Oklahoma and Tulsa in college football. I remember that. Oklahoma was a 30-point favorite. That's how much I remember it. That's how much it means to me. Because that was the first time a company gave me the opportunity to talk about sports on their channel, SBR, way back. It was very cool. So a lot of guys, so many cool people in here. I appreciate you. Lucky, my man, since you and Brenner, SBR. Yeah, Mike Brenner. Wow. That was a flash in the past. Shut there, pistol. Black Burger pistol. Remember that guy? He was funny, man, Mike Brenner. Jose, do you know Mike Brenner? Do you go back that far? You don't, right?
I do not know. I do not know who Brenner is.
You talk about a fucking lunatic. Holy shit, man. I mean, it was like he did a line before he that's how he was. It was
That's how he
crazy.
got ready to go. I respect it. I respect it.
Yes, I do as well. We'll get to you a little later. Thank you for coming on. Yes, some people remember Brenner, some people don't. What's up, JP? Thank you for watching, JP. I appreciate that. Welcome in. All right, guys, let me get back to the games here. My apologies. Sharon, what's going on? Sharon Pulliam, how are you? Mike disappeared. Yeah, he did. I don't know whatever happened to Mike. Okay. Our favorite team, Houston. Houston is a 26.5 point favorite against the Penn Quakers tonight down in Houston. I've talked before about how good Houston is. We all know they're good. I have them to win the national title. And guys, look, the truth of the matter is Houston against non-top 100 teams just don't give points up. Okay, they just don't. I mean, let me read some of these point totals for you on non-top 100 teams. Yo Monroe, 31. Corpus Christi 50, Stetson 48, Towson 49, Montana 44, Rice 39, Jackson State 55, Texas State 37. Do we need to hear any more? Well, Penn is back to, guess what? They're outside of the top 100. So how does Penn score, right? Well, they shoot a lot of threes. That's kind of their offense under Steve Donahue. Very good coach. However, this is a team with very little experience, 304th in Division One experience, not great, especially when you have to go and play a team to the level of Houston, right? This is also a team that at times has really struggled defensively this season. These are the kind of teams that Houston blows the hell out. Now, here's the question. Do you want to get involved with Houston approaching the new year, final non-conference game, at least for right now? Again, it's hard for me to envision fading Houston as far as taking a team total against Houston over. I just don't want to do it. It's not a particularly smart wager to me. I think it's a stupid idea. And to me, you generally are going to be looking at this and saying, why the hell did I do this? This isn't even close. Houston puts you in a blender and says, F off. You're going to just die a slow death. And then again, in a blender, you'd probably die quite a quick death. That said, going to be small nicks to your side for 2 hours. Team total for the Penn Quakers tonight is, let me see here. I should always get this up before I look here. 52 and a half. It's hoping 50 under. I tell you guys this. This is something that I've made money betting on this year. It just is a good bet. And again, Penn is going to shoot a lot of bad jump shots. You also look at the fact Houston plays very slow. So again, you're not going to get that many possessions. Penn doesn't exactly play quick either. This game is going to be rough. Rough. To me, this is like a, I don't know, 75-49 type of game. Under 52 and a half. Is it going to win every single time with Houston? No. I'll be on it. I'll be on it. And for me, when you look at Houston, this is the last non-conference game. They're kind of one of those teams where, like, if you're an NFL team, you want to shut a team out. Houston wants to do as much damage as they can defensively every single time. No, I say this a lot, but I love Houston. I love this team. I love LJ Cryer. I love everything about Houston. Can we get a recap? We'll do that at the end. Thank you for watching. Perky Sanderson. What's up, Perky? Perky, where you been? You throwing out plays of the days, I see. You got Ole Miss, I'm guessing, in college football. We'll get to that game in a second. I'm going to go over the bowl games. By the way, speaking of bowl games, how about that performance last night for the Missouri Tigers? I had Missouri on the money line. Really liked Missouri in that game. Didn't understand why they were an underdog. I don't know if it had been a different game if Devin Brown didn't get injured. Those are the kind of games, though, if you have a dog and you see obviously McCord transferred, Devin Brown gets injured. I mean, it was clear. Third string quarterback couldn't throw the football. Impressive. It seemed like Missouri just said, you know what? Let's stop screwing around. And they stopped screwing around. But they ended up having, I think, over 300 yards. It's pretty good night for them. Jeff, I remember you were selling picks for a while. Always, always. Look, there's a lot of ways to make money in this business, and that's just the truth. All right. Party G says, I'm a first-time commenter, long-time listener. I've been with you for 25 years. Well, interesting, because I'm only 34. I was gambling when I was 9 years old, but I wasn't on YouTube. So I'm not sure how, Cardi, you've been with me for 25 years, but hey, I'm with it. Maybe you'll be with me for 25 years. I appreciate that. Because people like you are going to be needed in the second half of my life, God willing. Thank you. Thank you. I'm thinking about that scene. Yes, the scene from Titanic. It's been 25 years or whatever. It was like 80 years or whatever. But yeah, I don't know how he's been with me for 25 years because I haven't been doing this on YouTube for 25 years. However, it is crazy because I've been gambling for 25 years. Think about that. And I'm only 34. All right. Couple of more games here in college basketball. I like this game here. I really like this game here on a couple levels. Indiana State, guys, keep an eye on the trees, man. This is a good basketball team. No, there's no Larry Bird at Indiana State. However, Robbie Avila is at Indiana State. And let me tell you something. Michigan State struggles with these types of bigs, these mobile bigs that can operate all over the place. Michigan State has struggled this year. We know that, right? And let me tell you something about Indiana State. This team has not lost since November 10th, way back on November 10th, nearly 2 months. And they've beaten some good teams in the process. Beat Toledo, beat Bradley. But this is a step up. However, I don't think Michigan State's very good. And I know they've kind of gotten it together recently. Here's what I would do in this game. I like the over in this game. And I do like Indiana State as well. But I like the over because I also think this game's going to be high scoring. Indiana State under Josh Schertz wants to play up and down, breakneck pace. Boom, 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 boom. Isaiah Swope, Southern Indiana transfer, boom, 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 boom. They want to go up and down. And look, I'll be honest, I think Michigan State will find ways to score in this game. They obviously on offense, they'll play quick as well. I think the guard play for Michigan State will score. Hogard, Walker, Malik Hall should have some success. But again, I think Robbie Avila is a tough matchup for them in this game. We know they're not a particularly deep group. Something tells me this game is first to 80 wins. Something like 80, 74, 79, 71, something like that. A game similar to that kind of ilk. I think we see a higher scoring game here. I got this number a little bit lower total wise, but I also lean Indiana State. I think they hang around in this game. I think they're a team that we have to start respecting a little bit. We're going to learn a lot about Indiana State today, but I think they answer the call in a big way here. They're a group that just kind of hyper speed you up, make you go quick. And what do we know about Michigan State? First of all, they just what do they do in games where they lose, right? Let's look at the Michigan State game. Don't get to the free throw line much. Just kind of, I think, fall into the whole can't shoot the ball, and they don't really have a lot of options outside of Tyson Walker sometimes offensively. I think Indiana State's legit. Again, big step up. Haven't played a team in a long time, eating up a lot of cupcakes, but this is a big barometer game. Magic Johnson against Larry Bird. They're not out there. They're both very old now. That said, I like Indiana State in this matchup, and I do like the over a little bit here. All right. Hey, Roy Munson says, how can a poisoned dwarf with T-Rex arms have the audacity to speak about basketball? Because I know what I'm doing here, and thank you for watching, Roy. Appreciate you. JP Taylor says, Indiana State is a wagon. Yes, they have been. They have been. Craig Wood says the big man looks like your local trash man. Dude is legit. Oh, you're talking about Avila, the big man for Indiana State. Yeah, he does. He has that look to him. That's a good point. Looks like the trolls have arrived. Who cares? As long as they watch, that their view counts the same. So thank you, Roy Munson. Appreciate you. Indiana State's offense is efficient as hell. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. For a team that, guys, Indiana State is not 170th in Ken Palm. They're 59th. This team is super efficient. Top 10 in both 3-point and 2-point offense. And again, guys, what do I tell you? How does a basketball underdog of, let's say, 7 or more hang around? For Indiana State, do they make free throws? Yes, 76%. Do they make threes? Yes, 41.4%. Do they turn the ball over? No. That is how you stay in the game. And I'll throw one other one out there. Do they rebound the basketball on defense? Do they shut possessions down? Yes. I will always be on Indiana State here. Again, could they lose, 81-65? Yes. I'm going to bank on, though, that I believe truly they can go in. And remember, this is a good spot for them. Coming off a game where they have had time to prepare. Michigan State hasn't played for 9 days. Michigan State's last non-conference game. There's not going to be a bunch of people in the building today, I would think, for this game. You got New Year's on deck. This means a lot to Indiana State. A lot. I like the Sycamores here. The trees. I think they get it done. All right. Emza says, I've been on Indiana State a bunch, but not here. Well, good luck. I'm not sure why you wouldn't be on him here if you've been on him a bunch. But hey, good luck. Let's go to the final game here. This is really just going to be a play of a matchup that I feel like I think you can exploit. I like Duke. I like their team total over in this game. I'm going to get it up. I would say it's probably high 80s. That said, I don't really care that much about what the number is. I think Duke pummels Queens, and I say that because I watched Queens against Clemson. They were absolutely destroyed. I mean, Queens can't defend anybody. Queens is a team that came to Division One quite recently, last couple of years, and Queens plays that breakneck up and down pace. The problem that Queens has is they are a completely lost team on defense. Completely lost. I mean, you can't stop anybody. It's even hot, 94 and a half. Wow. I was hoping high 80s. Said it's still under 95. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'd just take the over in this game. I was hoping 89 and a half, but I guess they're keying in on what I already know. I'll just take the over, 159 and a half. We're getting 159 here, 159. Duke's going to probably get into the 90s in this game. So we ask ourselves, what is Queens going to do? Well, when you look at Queens, they actually are decent on offense. You look at the game against Clemson, scored 79, scored 82 against Winthrop. This is a team that can score the basketball, scored 81 against App State. They play that breakneck up and down, and they can score a little bit. I think Duke just kind of puts it all together and really has that let their hair down offensive game. Haven't had it in a while, right? It seems like at times Duke has struggled a little bit, but 89 against a really good Hofstra team, 92 against Dartmouth, 90 against Buckdown, 95 against LaSalle, 80 against Southern Indiana. Generally, when it was Krzyzewski, now Shire, in these types of games, they generally get into the 90s. They're just way better than these types of teams. And I don't believe this is a prototypical Duke defense. I just don't. I mean, they're okay, but I don't think they're very good either. Queens is really bad on defense. Queens is horrible. Would it surprise me if Duke get to 100? No. I view this game like 95-70, something like that. I think we see a bunch of points in this game. I'm going to go over 159 in this one. I think Duke um, get to 95 in this one. So yeah, that's the five that I had an eye on. We'll kind of open it up now. I definitely like this over, says Justin McElvey. Yeah, me too. La Resistance 7 says Bonjour from France. What's up, La Resistance? La Resistance. How are you? Nice to see you, my friend. Good luck. Kylie Reynolds says, I bet Indiana State +9 and over. Thank you, Kylie. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Hopefully we cash in on that one. Okay, what questions do you guys have? When throwing in a question, do me a favor, please include the line if you can. I'm not. I'm decent at remembering things, but there are certain games that I don't remember everything on. One game that I wanted to talk quickly about is Rutgers. Rutgers is playing Stonehill today. Stonehill. Stonehill is a team that is new. They were first year team last year out of Easton, Massachusetts, coached by a guy called Chris Kraus. They have one Division One win this year, 57-44 against the Army. So we ask ourselves, how do they score in this type of game? Well, they're probably not going to score much at all. They play Rutgers, who we know under Steve Peichel is going to just cut you like Houston. They're going to put you in at a half court, and you're going to run around for a while and shoot a bad shot. Stonehill, I think, struggles to get to 50 in this game. I really do. I like to find these matchups where you just have a team that's going to be completely in over their head. And I think we get kind of a pissed off Rutgers team today. I really do. They didn't look good against Mississippi State. Completely shut down LIU. Shut down a lot of offenses this year. Stonehill might be the worst offense Rutgers has played. This game starts at 12 noon. Stonehill's team total is 56 and a half. Seems too high to me. That's one that I would almost throw out here. I don't think they get to 50. I really don't. Stonehill is bad, real bad. I mean, how do they score? How do they score? By the way, I meant to look last night. I was curious to see how Illinois would play last night. I had Purdue first half. That was my only play last night. Ended up rolling, and Illinois looked good. It didn't really see much issue with not having Terrence Shannon in there. But Fairleigh Dickinson's one of the worst teams in the country. Started out kind of slow though. That said, nice win for them. So yeah, there you go. I'll throw one other one out there. Stone Hill, team total under. I think they struggle. Yeah, we mentioned that, Robert. That was the first game I talked about. I like Virginia in that game. Thoughts on Marquette? Yeah, I talked about that one. Definitely lean Marquette. I would rewind back a little bit though. It was the second game we talked about. We have that thing up there for a reason. You should be able to go back quite easily. Justin McAfee says Stacks play of the day, Creighton plus 3.5. Oh wait, so you waited to the end to tell us that? What the hell? Why didn't you tell us that during the game? Uh, Hey, listen, he's banking on the fact they're going to make threes today. It's not that bad of a game. I get it. I get your point. Leroy Flood says, what do you think about Iona minus 2.5 against Harvard? Interesting game. I looked at that one. I thought this was a good spot for Harvard, but I've noticed in these games with Iona as kind of like a flip game, they've taken a lot of money. I guess people trust in Tobin Anderson. I didn't think this team was very good on the surface, but I thought against Colgate, I thought that was really impressive what they did. I've bet against Iona once this year. It was St. Joe's, and it was an easy winner. But I thought Colgate would be in a good spot against Iona, and they got rolled. Maybe they found something Iona the other night. They're definitely taking money here. I think following the money is probably the right thought here. You won't find me betting Iona, but I guess I lean Iona. This was a pick 'em. They're not 2.5 point favorites. Um, do I have any thoughts on Arkansas State, Georgia State over? I don't play a bunch of Sun Belt really. It's not really a conference I'm real keyed in on. And it's not that I don't like it. It's just it's very guard oriented. Two defenses generally, or defenses that generally aren't very good. Yeah, this should be a good one, and both teams should be able to run and kind of do what they want to do. Here's the issue, though: just because teams play fast doesn't mean they're going to go over. If they're not efficient, it really doesn't matter. Something told me that was first to 70 wins, so maybe that total's a little bit too high. I want to say I had that number at like 141, 140 around there. 145 seems a bit high. I would check the line movement. Seems like maybe that one was bet up and you maybe missed the best number. Don't bet bad numbers. You'll lose long term. JP Taylor says I convinced him to grab the 9 with Indiana State. Well, it seems like I'm convincing people to take things. Hopefully that one wins. Um, Julian Cesario says, what do you think about Memphis minus 19 against Austin P? Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, it's hard to jump in front of Memphis right now. The thing about Memphis and laying numbers is they're quite efficient and they play really fast, plenty of possessions. And look, Austin P is not going to put up much of a throw sign. I mean, they're not very good defensively either, and they can't score. Quick recipe for a blowout. I guess it's really just about how interested is Memphis in playing? And the problem you have is Penny Hardaway's not a particularly good coach, at least to me. It's just kind of go out there and play. There are times where maybe that can be a little bit lackadaisical type of coaching. They do have obviously their conference play on deck, but yeah, look, I don't think you'd find me. You're not going to bet me betting Austin P here. It would be Memphis or pass. Um, but yeah, I get it. And look, you're going to get plenty of possessions. I'll get to bowl games in a second. For people asking about that, Tori Coker, how are you? Nice to see you, Mom. How's everything? Robert Franklin, what do you think about St. John's and Hofstra? Yeah, so I actually was going to include this game on the card, but the number moved a whole lot. I bet the over at 148 last night. This number's up to, I think, 151 and a half. We took a lot of money on the over, and I thought it would. That's why I bet it early. This number's also come down. This number was 10. It's now 8. Hop's solid, guys. They're really good, man. They've got a bunch of kids that can really score the basketball under Speedy Claxton. Really good dribble drive offense. And listen, again, and I'll teach you guys this, Robert, to you. If you're taking a dog above 7 points, do they make free throws? Do they turn the ball over? Do they make threes? Yes to all of them. Hofstra is solid. They just are. That said, in stepping up, they have struggled. And a lot of the time comes in the defensive end, hence the point for over. I think they hang here. I would have loved to have gotten 10. You're betting this at the worst price. That's the issue. But if you're asking me about dogs, I think Indiana, like I don't think Hofstra wins this game. I just don't. I think Indiana State could. St. John's is starting to figure it out, but I think the over is the play to me here. Florida State against Lipscomb. What do you think? Yeah, I'm not interested in laying points at Florida State. They're just too helter skelter for me. They run out too many kids. This is one of the teams that play just everybody. And yes, they're very big, but just because you're big doesn't mean you're going to blow a lot of teams out. They haven't been very good offensively. They miss a lot of free throws. They haven't been great as far as turning the ball over. And Lipscomb is all of a sudden looking pretty good. This team is well coached under Lenny Akoff. Always do a really nice job. They hang in games against good teams. That's just kind of what they do down there. Yeah, I have no interest in laying points with Florida State. Look, if they just had to win this game, yeah, but I don't have interest in laying double digits essentially with them. It's just not what I'm interested in doing. Arkansas against Wilmington. That's a dangerous game for Eric Musselman, and he damn well knows it. UNCW, another team. Don't turn the ball over. Good from the free throw line. They're going to turn you over. Uh, yeah, that's a tough one. We obviously seen UNC Wilmington win some games, beat Kentucky already, beat Marshall, uh, beat some good basketball teams. They also have had some weird losses too. But yeah, I think there are going to be some teams that are going to struggle today. This is again last game before conference play starts. This one definitely struck me. Obviously, Indiana State a little bit. Arkansas is not a team that I bet really until conference play. And I don't think I think Arkansas is a national title contender. But right now, I don't want to bet them. Arkansas thrives. Bud Walton, middle of January, early February, conference play. They start to get cranking. Arkansas's really good. It just you got to get them healthy. Got to get that kind of the cohesiveness down. They always have a bunch of new kids. Got to get continuity going. So Arkansas is a team for me. I've not bet at all this year. I don't think I bet them one time. I don't think I bet against them. I bet on them nothing. I wait for them 2 weeks from now. That's when I want to bet Arkansas. Do I have any thoughts on Tech catching 3.5 against Wake? That game didn't do too much for me. I kind of had it kind of right where the number was. Um, Both teams good offensively, pretty average on defense. Kind of leaned over there, but I think the number's right. I didn't see much of an advantage for either side. I think Wake should be a favorite, but that's all I really had with that one. Chris Salzer, what do you think about UGA against Alabama A&M? Look, again, all going to be about how engaged are you. A lot of these teams coming off week plus breaks. Is Georgia a team that I'm running to lay a number with? No, I'm not. I don't think they're built to cover these types of numbers. Should they blow out a SWAC team? Yes. But then again, Georgia should have blown out a lot of teams they played. Should have blown out Mount St. Mary's and didn't. Should have blown out Mercer and didn't. Should have blown out North Florida. Did, but didn't get above 20. I think this number might just be too high. That said, Chris, I wouldn't take Alabama and A&M, but there are better teams to lay big numbers with. Like for me, Chris, why not just say, you know what? I'm just going to play Houston instead. You're more inclined to probably cover that number. UGA doesn't lay these types of numbers. They're a team that under Mike White, who is a stone cold loser at every team he's been at. There are a lot of new kids on this team, bunch of random kids coming together. I think there'll be a tough out in the SEC, in certain random games. But do I want to lay above 20 with them in any circumstance? No. I'll also say this. I don't believe they've won one game they haven't won any game this year by more than 18 points. They just let teams hang around. Mount St. Mary's is bad. You let them score 82 points. Yeah, they struggled with High Point for a while before putting them away. Yeah, I don't have any interest at all in laying big numbers with Georgia. They could win. They could roll here and win by 30, but it's not a long-term, I think, proposition I want. Guys in the chat, if you want to be jackasses, then get off. Jeff will make you money. Listen, I think we've only had one douchebag in here today. What are your thoughts on Alabama Liberty? Feel like the total of 152 is a bit low. Yeah, I could see that. Again, though, that is another game that's going to be very 3-point heavy, right? You're going to see those teams shooting a lot of threes. I spilled some coffee. Damn it. Hate spilling coffee because it makes me smell like fucking coffee, even though I love the smell of coffee. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of threes in this game. If they're making them, they'll probably get to 170. If they're not, they can struggle to get to 140. Both these teams are great options on offense. They both make a bunch of threes. They're both really efficient. They don't turn the ball over. I would always be leaning over in this game. I would bank on the fact that two teams aren't going to be horrible from three. And look at Alabama, right? Make anything against Arizona and still got the 160. I think I'm 161. Yeah, I would lean over here. 152 is too low. You're definitely getting a great number there. Do you have any thoughts on Marquette? Yep, we talked about that. Guys, do you guys read this some of you guys, do you read this big thing that says coming up? You read that? All right. I'll do one or two more and then we'll get into some college football here. Do I have any thoughts on West Kentucky over? Yeah, West Kentucky wants to play fast, one of the fastest teams in the country. Abilene does as well. I have no issue with that one. Any thoughts on Kansas and Wichita? So this number was 13 and a half last night. It's down to 12 and a half. And I'll tell you, my first thought was Wichita in this game. I think Wichita is always very solid. It really doesn't matter who the coach is, Paul Mills, whatever. Good offense, a lot of the time, better defense. Xavier Bell, Colby Rogers, legit defensively. Can they deal with Hunter Dickinson? Yes. Big group, a lot of big kids on this team. My first thought was that's kind of a tough stub your toe kind of spot where Kansas wins like 79-69 or something. I could see Wichita coming through the back door. Again, though, here's your issue. Wichita's not great from the line, don't make threes very often, but they do offensive rebound, which can keep you in a game. I definitely thought about the dog there, didn't end up playing it. Do I have any thoughts on Georgia Southern? They're 0-12. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think betting against them is a bad idea, but just because you're 0-12, it means that you're likely to get a win at some point. Georgia Southern's at home. And I'll tell you this, like 0-12 really doesn't matter that much. They're not going to the NCAA tournament unless they win their conference anyway. It really doesn't matter. This is important, guys. You realize this. Georgia Southern and Southern Miss, I believe, are both in the is Southern Miss in the Summit? Yeah, they are. They used to be in Conference USA. Here's something you'll learn today. Just the fact that our 0-12 doesn't mean anything. It just doesn't. Because Georgia Southern is looked to this game and said, okay, we've lost 12 games. We all know that. We haven't won a game. So now this is the season that matters. Because if we win our conference, it didn't matter if we go 0-12. There's a renewed hope around these teams. I'm going to tell you, I think Georgia Southern wins today. I don't think Southern Miss is very good anyway. You're going to give me 3.5 with a desperate team who's at home with some renewed confidence because guess what? Now they have an opportunity. I wouldn't worry much about what you saw. And remember, Southern Miss is not good either. Georgia Southern's going to shoot a bunch of threes. Would I run to play this game? No, but I would take Georgia. I don't think Southern Miss is any good either. So yeah, I wouldn't just worry about what we saw in 12 games because look, there's a lot of teams that suck, right? I mean, Texas Southern sometimes loses every game in the non-conference, and then they go and have a winning record because they're really good. They just played a lot of tough teams, you know. So yeah, I would lean Georgia Southern in that game. Um, all right, let's talk about college football. We're going to be on for another 10, 15 minutes here. If you have any pressing questions on anything, feel free to ask. What do you say we get to some college football? I'm going to start it out with a game that starts in about 40 minutes. It is the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Is there a better sponsor? Is there a more bowl game than this one, the Peach Bowl? Y'all love the Peach Bowl, right? Weather will be good down in Georgia. And Chick-fil-A. Who doesn't like Chick-fil-A? I'll tell you one thing before I get into this game. As many of you know, I lost 150 pounds or almost 150 pounds. And anyone that's lost weight knows this. When you lose weight, you never want to eat bad things. And when you eat bad things, you feel bad, right? You're like, why did I do that? I always want to eat Chick-fil-A, but I always say no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to hurt myself. I know it's bad. I don't want to eat it, but it's not that bad. Come on, let me eat it. I got to go soon and just eat Chick-fil-A. I want to eat it. It looks so good, and I never eat it. And you have to treat yourself occasionally, right? Um, doesn't Chick-fil-A, it's just so good, isn't it? Isn't it? I don't eat fast food, but if I would, Chick-fil-A. All right, Ole Miss and Penn State. Okay, so yeah, see, you get it, Sox Nation. You never want to eat anything bad. Um, I fast all day. I only eat one meal a day. So it's like I gotta do it at least some point, right? All right. Ole Miss and Penn State. This is offense against defense. We know how good Ole Miss's offense is under Lane Kiffin. We know how good Penn State's defense is. We have to mention him, James Franklin. I guess the question is, do you want to back Penn State, right? That offense. I like Drew Aller. I know a lot of people. I've given the guy a lot of chances. Penn State has been really good to me this year. I know a lot of people say I don't want to back them. I covered a lot. I think I covered the first 6 games backing them this year. This number's moved. I think if you like Penn State, you got to bet it, and you got to bet it quick. And this is less than 6. I don't know. When did you put this number up, Jose? When was this number 6? Do you know offhand?
Oh, I got
You're
'em.
on
I just got the lines right before the show. These are from
okay,
our friends
wow.
at online.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Interesting. I think if you're laying 5, you don't really care about laying 6 because anything under a touchdown, I like Penn State. I just do. I think Ole Miss is gimmicky a lot of the time. I think that defense is really going to do some numbers. Look, we saw how good at times Ohio State's defense is. I think Penn State's defense is right up there with them. We know Ole Miss isn't great or great defensively. And again, high powered. All they can do at times is throw the football. I'm going to lean on Penn State here. I didn't play this game, but I think always I'm going to take defense over offense a lot of the time. Jackson Dart, solid. Obviously, I like Quinshon Judkins. Um, but again, I'm always going to lean defense in this type of game. Um, yeah, he's fine, Craig Wood. He's fine. He's just enjoying some time outside. Nothing wrong with that. Someone said about JP Taylor says here grilled nuggets. Look, if I'm going to Chick-fil-A, I'm not eating grilled nuggets. Sorry. It's not. I'm just going to do what I got to do. Avoid carbs. You don't get hungry. I don't get
I'll,
hungry either.
I'll be getting Chick-fil-A today now after this conversation.
Have to. You have to. Who wouldn't? Um, that said, also, when you fast like I do, you can eat pretty free. I don't eat a lot of sugar. I don't eat a lot of fried food. I don't eat a lot of fast food. Once in a while, though, it's not bad. As long as, and this is a key to weight loss, right? A man should eat 2,500 calories a day. And if you don't eat that, you're going to lose weight. Pretty simple, actually. You don't need 3 meals a day. You don't need to eat breakfast. You don't need to eat lunch. I love fasted cardio. And then when I eat dinner, a nice big salad, a nice piece of steak, you feel good, you know? I just don't want to eat why 1 meal a day and it's Chick-fil-A and I feel like shit, because I don't know how it'll work for me now. Like I drank a soda like a year ago. I couldn't get through one drink of it. It was just it made me sick, all that sugar. So I don't know. I got to do it at some point, but maybe we'll help Chick-fil-A stock today. A lot of people like Chick-fil-A. All right. Let me go to the next game here. What is the next bowl game? I believe it is Auburn and Maryland. Yes, Auburn and Maryland in the what is this game? The Music City Bowl, I believe. This is in Nashville, Tennessee, I think. Maryland's not going to have Tolia Tagovailoa, who is preparing for the NFL draft. They will go to who? Billy Edwards, I believe, is his name, who has some experience this season. Redshirt sophomore, did play a lot last year. Definitely wants to run the football, big kid, kind of bulky. Should all really be laying this kind of number? Look, Auburn's solid, definitely improved, but I don't think Auburn's particularly a strong football team. We don't fear them like we used to. They don't have Cam Newton coming through the door. This number again was a bit higher. You could have got 6.5 yesterday. This is a Maryland team that wasn't great defensively, but I didn't love Auburn defensively either. And one thing Auburn struggled with: finishing drives, scoring touchdowns. If you're going to give me above 4, I'd lean Maryland here. Um, I like Billy Edwards. I think he's a good option as your backup quarterback. I think the problem comes when, let's say, Edwards gets hurt, like we saw. You want your best quarterback in there, but we've seen so many teams. A lot of the time, guys, what did we see? It hasn't mattered that people have opted out. Teams have still played well. Like BC, they had very few people playing and still beat SMU. So it hasn't mattered that much. And Billy Edwards is a solid player and a solid quarterback. Obviously, the sharp money agrees. A lot of money agrees because this number has dropped from 6.5 to 4.5. Still, would have liked to have gotten 6.5. That said, I definitely lean Maryland here. Cashman says, I never thought breakfast would be good. Chick-fil-A breakfast would be good. Boy, was I wrong. Oh, really? Interesting. Oh, you're saying chicken and eggs. Yeah, they have like a chicken egg sandwich, I think. Boy, was I wrong. Yeah, it seems like all the food at Chick-fil-A is good, isn't it? Again, it's been a long time since I've had it. But I'll tell you guys a story. This is how much of a fat slob that I was. Listen to this. So when I used to work at a bank. That was the last like 9 to 5 job I had. And I worked out in a town that had Chick-fil-A about 5 minutes away. I would eat Chick-fil-A all the time. I would go there like every other day. And I'm eating 2 number ones, double fries, big soda. And then I just go back and like, I don't know how I survived. I really don't. Like I was a complete disaster. I mean, life is a lot better. I'm not skinny by any means, but I feel good when I wake up now, right? I can run, 1.5 miles, no problem. Like you just feel better. And again, I'm not the picture of health, but I'm in a much better predicament. My blood pressure's lower. I'm healthy. And that's the point. When I go to the doctor, I'm healthy. Am I skinny? No, but I'm in good shape. I work out every day. Better like that than like that. I mean, you could see me at that point. I was a fucking mess. Your blood sugar can sustain fasting through noon the next day. Check out a book called The Obesity Code if you want to lose weight. Excellent fast book. Yeah, fasting is the key. Is there bowl games? Is there only 2 today? Is there another one? Do we have another one? I don't believe we do. I think there was only 2. Oh, Georgia, right. Georgia, Florida State. Do we want to lay 21.5 with Georgia? Georgia. I think you do. I don't really have much issue laying this number here. I don't know if Florida State will score, and if they do, I think it's under 10. So what do I see? I my first thought in this game was 38-10. Like, that was my first thought here. And how does Florida State stay in this game? I don't really know. I think this game will be a lot like Michigan, Iowa in the Big Ten title game. Like, I just don't think Florida State will move the football. I think they're gonna be a lot like what we saw from Ohio State last night. Now, look, is Tate Rodemaker a little bit better than, you know and I don't think isn't Tate Rodemaker hurt as well? I mean, it's been a while since they played, but, um, yeah, I mean, he's in the transfer he's not even playing, is he? That's right, I don't think he's even playing. Florida State gets I don't know if this number's high enough. Lay it. This might be the best play of the day. Lay it. Georgia's, I think, pissed off here. I really do. I think they're pissed. Not that I don't think they thought they'd be in the Final Four, but does Florida State even want to play? I thought they're even talk they weren't going to play. Like, just a mess. Just a mess. Lay it. This number ain't high enough. Lay it. This is like 34-7 or something. Oh, yeah, we do have Wyoming Toledo. Isn't this the Barstool Bowl? Yeah, Barstow, Arizona Bowl. There you go. When I was at Barstow, I never went to the bowl game. I think a lot of people always ask, like, do they fly people? They don't do that. I went to the basketball thing, the invitational, but it was in Philly. But yeah, I think a few people went to this game just because they were a part of the broadcast, but I um I didn't go to any of the bowl games. That said, Quan Finn is not playing in this game. Penny Boone's not playing in this game, top running back for Toledo. And Wyoming has, I think, a lot to play for. I think they'll have a lot of motivation in this game. They were in this Barstow, Arizona game last year. Andrew Peasley will be in there, the quarterback. It's Craig Bowles. Craig Bowles retiring? I didn't know that. Why did you not know that? I feel like he's young to retire, isn't he? Like 65. I thought he's younger than that. Interesting. So there you go. Last game for Craig Bowl. Obviously, I think that goes into a little bit here. Um, I would lean Wyoming in this game. I think they're the better team, at least at this point. I like Toledo a lot. I love Jason Candle, but you're not getting the best Toledo team here. Toledo generally stepping out of conference, they struggle. They just generally do. I want to say this number was 3.5 last night, so it's bet up a little bit. You're not going to have your full complement on defense either for Toledo. Wyoming seemed to play really well in these types of games. Do I want to lay over a field goal? I didn't love it, but again, I would lean Wyoming here. Not a game I'll be betting. Um, and I think they're probably the play here. Uh, Florida State should be extremely angry going undefeated, not getting to the championship. I don't agree with that. I mean, their strength of schedule was 55th. Who cares? 55th. They shouldn't have been in the. No one wanted to see them in the Final Four. They just and guess what? Why are we still talking about this? The four best teams are in, and they're going to be great games. Could you imagine, dude? Let me ask you something. I want that cat, and I'm not knocking you, but just ask yourself this: we all know what means everything to everyone, even you, Fazools. Nobody wants to see a third string. Could you imagine that? We got a Monday. We got to worry about. We got to watch Florida State with some back third string quarterback. To see that, to see a 22-point number in a Final Four game. Did they get shafted? Maybe a little, but they were 55th in strength of schedule. Every other team was top 10. The ACC stinks. Nobody wants to see that shit. We have Alabama, we have Washington, we have Michigan, and we have Texas. Like the best four teams. That's what we want. Listen, if Jordan Travis was playing and he was healthy, they probably would have been in, but he wasn't. And yeah, it sucks, but it's about money. It's about will people watch this? And you're right. We're going to see a lot of this with that dumb 12-team playoff. I don't know why this is so difficult for these people to understand. Keep it to four teams. That said, I'm out. You guys have a great day. For anyone that missed the top five games that I threw out, I like Virginia -9.5 against Notre Dame. I like Marquette -3.5 against Creighton. I like Penn team total under. Was it 53.5, 52.5? I like Indiana State. I grabbed the 9 there. And I like Duke and Queens over. So let's see how it goes. As far as college football, I like Georgia. I'm probably gonna lay that. I didn't really care about what the number was because I don't think it matters. I think Georgia is going to destroy Florida State. Destroy Florida State. We have to remember how good Carson Beck was this year. I think if there were two more games, he could have been like Heisman finalist. He was awesome. Brock Bowers at defense. Um, exactly. Well, I mean, listen, the NFL doesn't have like a selection thing where they put teams in, but he's right. I mean, if there was a decision between the Chiefs having Patrick Mahomes and whoever their backup is, like they just wouldn't be selected. Like that's how it works. Nobody wants to see third string quarterbacks. Do you think people watched that game last night, Missouri Ohio State? What do you think the ratings were for that game in the second half? Outside of the fan bases, we watched that or gamblers. You know what I'm saying? I agree with you, Mike. I think they will. But again, I think it also makes sense on the field. Toledo's without DeQuan Finn and Penny Boone and plenty of options on offense. So yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I think Wyoming gets the job done there. All right, guys, I'm out of here. It's been an hour, and I appreciate you all watching as always. Before you go, please hit that like button. If you're new here, Make sure you subscribe to Pub Sports Radio on YouTube. Become a member. You get all sorts of cool perks and things of that nature. And we're here every Saturday, me, myself, and I, every Saturday, college basketball countdown, 10:30 Eastern throughout the college basketball season. College football will be over as of a week or so. So we got college football or college basketball on deck. We got a little NFL playoffs coming up. Got a lot going on as we head into March. Thank you, as always, to Jose Bouquet for producing the show. And if you need me, you can find me on Twitter at Jeff Nadeau. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you next week here on the College Basketball Countdown.